He was all over the news.
And would it be fair to say that from those news reports you gained additional information that you didn't have that night?
Actually, what I did is went into work the next morning and pulled up the police report on the internet, and there you were in a mugshot. And I'm like, that's the guy.
So you got a further description from the mugshot?
No, I didn't get a further description. At the time, I didn't care who you were when you were in my yard. I didn't know who you were, what you had done, where you had been, any of that stuff. So all I'm saying is you were trespassing in my yard at that time. That's all I can say. Other than that, that's all I can confirm. I don't know what you did. I don't know where you were. I don't know any of the other stuff. All I know is you were the guy in my yard.
The guy that you said was 5'9", 160 pounds.
Objection, argumentative,
Grounds.
asked and answered.
Sustained. Next question, you don't have to answer that.
And what prompted you to read or pull up the police report?
Objection, irrelevant.
Grounds. He said it. He brought it out there.
Overruled, he may answer.
I was curious of actually who you were. And if you were the person that actually had done the atrocities that were on television.
And what prompted the curiosity?
A stranger was in my yard, unannounced, trespassing, asked them to leave, and they ended up catching somebody for doing something very bad, and I was wondering if that was the individual that had cut through my yard.
So it'd be fair to say at the time you wasn't privy to that knowledge yet.
Egg.
Grounds.
Sustained as to the form of the question.
At the time you pulled up the police report, as you say, you had no knowledge of the identity of the individual.
I didn't know that you were going to be the person that had done that.
You keep referring to the you.
You. No, I'm looking into your eyes right now. You're the guy I'm talking about when I refer to you.
And the record should reflect that the witness used his right hand and index finger to point directly at the defendant. Next question, please.
So you just made reference to looking the you in the eyes, but you would need.
What would you prefer to call you?
You would need,
Because you're not going by Darrell Brooks.
you would need me to step out of my shoes to tell my height and weight, right?
I'd have to also stand 2 feet from you.
Hold on, please. Mr. Brooks, you're directed under 90611 to ask a question and not argue with the witness.
That
Thank
was
you.
the question.
It was argumentative. Please rephrase your question, and then the witness is instructed to wait until a question is asked, and if there's any objection, then I rule on it first. Go ahead, next question.
It sounds like he didn't want to argue.
Jury will disregard that last comment. Mr. Brooks, you're not testifying right now. You'll have an opportunity if you choose to do that later. Please ask a question.
Yeah, I'm gonna get to it. Any reason why you didn't give a written statement to law enforcement?
Objection, argumentative, irrelevant.
How's it argumentative?
Sustained as to the form of the question. Next question, please.
Did Did you at any time give a written statement to law enforcement?
I don't believe so.
Any reason why not?
Objection.
Grounds?
Argumentative and irrelevant.
Sustained.
Grounds for the sustain?
Mr. Brooks, please ask your next question.
Grounds for the sustain? You said you pulled up the police report at work the next day, right?
No, I pulled up your mugshot.
Well, you did say police report. Would that be fair to say?
You can answer that.
I just pulled up a mugshot.
You don't recall saying that you pulled up the police report specifically?
I specifically wanted to pull up the picture of the person that had committed those atrocities to see if that was the person that had cut through my yard, which confirmed it was.
And did you pull up the complaint?
No.
Have you ever seen the complaint?
I don't believe I have.
Have you yourself filed a complaint?
Nope.
Any reason why not?
Objection.
Grounds.
Irrelevant.
Sustained.
Argumentative.
As to the form of the question and on relevance. Next question.
Do you recall who subpoenaed you to testify here today?
It's on the subpoena.
You don't recall?
I'd have to have the subpoena with me to read the name.
Do you recall if it was the district attorney's office?
It was.
Do you recall about how long ago you received the subpoena?
You can answer that.
A month or two ago, a couple months ago. I got a subpoena, so that's all I know, and I had to show up at a certain time.
So you knew it was a possibility that you would be called to testify?
I had no expectation of subpoena until I went to the DA's office.
So you went to the DA's office?
They want to know. They ask. They want to see if you're worth having as a witness, or if you actually had any information that was pertinent to the case.
And so would it be fair to say that you felt that you did?
I didn't know.
Grounds?
Hold on. I'll sustain as to the form of the question, strike the last response. Please rephrase.
Did you feel that you had information that would be relevant to the matter?
That's an irrelevant question,
Grounds.
Your Honor.
Sustained. Next question, please.
Grounds for the sustain, Your Honor?
Next question, please.
Grounds for the sustain, Your Honor?
Next question, please.
Is that a judicial determination, Your Honor?
Ask your next question, please.
When you went to the district attorney's office, do you recall whom you spoke with?
There was 3 or 4 people there. I don't recall their names. I recall their faces.
You said you do recall the names, not the faces?
No, I recall their faces, not their names.
Do you see any of those district attorneys in court here today?
See one district attorney and one officer was in the room.
And for the record and for the jury, can you identify whom you're referring to?
I'd have to point.
I'll say,
Yep.
Your Honor, I met with
And
Mr. Backler.
and this officer here, sitting behind them.
All right, so the
Yes,
witness has
Detective.
pointed to District Attorney Sue Opper and Detective Casey.
And that was around the time you first received the subpoena?
It was the time that the subpoena told me to show up.
Do you recall ever, being told about the plaintiff in this matter?
Objection,
Grounds.
vague.
Sustained as to the form of the question.
Do you know who the plaintiff is in this matter?
Objection,
Grounds.
vague, beyond the scope
Grounds.
of the witness's knowledge, legally inaccurate.
Sustained as to the form of the question.
Did Attorney Opper ever tell you who the plaintiff was in this matter?
The subpoena told me who the plaintiff was.
And do you recall who the plaintiff is?
Darrell Brooks.
That's the plaintiff?
Oh, not the plaintiff, the plaintiff is, I think, City of Waukesha or State of Wisconsin, I'm not sure.
And it'd be fair to say that that's not a living, breathing human being.
Objection,
Grounds.
relevance.
Sustained, not relevant. Next question.
Are you aware that only a living, breathing human being can make a claim?
Objection,
Grounds.
irrelevant, argumentative.
Grounds.
Sustained for those reasons, and it's also not an accurate
It's
statement of the law.
definitely not
Next
argumentative.
Mr. Brooks, under 90611, I need you to move on from this topic and ask a different line of questions, please.
Move on from what topic, Your Honor?
Next question, sir.
Can I know what topic you're referring to, Your Honor?
Next question, please.
If I don't know the topic, how would I know to go in a different direction?
Mr. Brooks, under 90611, I need you to ask a question.
Do you know if there's even a plaintiff in this matter?
Objection, irrelevant.
Sustained. Under 90611, sir, please move on from this topic, or I will declare your cross-examination closed.
Under what law and fact, Your Honor?
Under 90611, please ask a question.
And where can I find 90611?
This is your last opportunity to ask a question, sir.
Your Honor, the jury deserves to know this information.
All right, then, the state, any redirect?
No redirect, thank you, Judge.
All right, thank you, sir, you may step down. State may call its next witness.
Thank you, Sean. Have a good day.
You may call.
The state called Dominic Caprone.
All right, sir, if you would please make your way to the witness stand, which is on my right, up one riser. When you get there, please remain standing, raise your right hand. My clerk, Teresa, who's on my left, will swear you in.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Please have a seat. First thing I will ask you to do is to state your first and last names for the record and then spell each.
Dominic Caprone, DOMANICCAPROON.
All right, thank you. Go ahead, your witness.
Thank you. Mr. Caprone, are you a resident of the city of Waukesha?
Yes.
Where were you living on November 21st of 2021?
417 Central Avenue.
The objection is overruled. His answer may stand. When there's an objection, if you would just wait until I rule on it before you answer. Thank you.
Okay.
Go ahead.
417 Central Avenue, Waukesha, Wisconsin.
Okay. Were you home on the afternoon of November 21st, that Sunday afternoon?
Yes.
Objection leading.
Overruled. His answer may stand.
What was the answer?
Yes. I believe is what he said.
Yes.
Can you tell us what happened shortly before 5 o'clock p.m. that day?
Well, we were at home and my youngest son just got home from a friend's house and we were ready to get water from Woodlands and
Were you outside or inside?
we were inside the house, sorry.
Okay. Did you at some point make your way outside?
Yeah, we eventually decided to go and we were bringing the jugs out to the truck and sorry.
It's okay. Tell us about the setup. Where was your truck parked?
The truck was parked by the back door and the tailgate was facing the entry of the driveway.
So the truck was in the driveway?
Yes.
Okay. And what happened is you were also standing in the driveway?
When I was putting the jugs in the back of the truck, my oldest son, looked up and he kind of pointed behind me and I turned and Mr. Brooks was coming up the driveway and when I turned he kind of stopped and I noticed that he wasn't wearing a jacket or shoes, just
Could you tell us what he was wearing?
he was wearing
Overruled. He may answer.
okay. He was wearing just blue jeans and like a red t-shirt and he had lifted his shirt and did a 360, told me that he didn't have any weapons and that he needed a phone to call an Uber. And so I said, yeah, sure, no problem. So, you know, I handed him my phone and I had suggested to him that my neighbor was a Lyft driver. And so we continued to, you know, with the containers. And so I put the last one in and he handed me my phone and he turned the corner and just wanted to see if he, you know, got a hold of my neighbor, looked around the corner, and then he was gone.
Okay.
So
When Mr. Brooks lifted his shirt and did a 360 and said he was unarmed, were those the first words he said to you while you were in your driveway?
Objection leading, and I do not consent to being called that name.
Overruled.
exactly sure. I think it was more or less all together.
Okay. And how many of your sons were present and in the driveway with you?
Objection, relevancy.
Overruled.
2.
How old were they at the time?
Objection, relevancy.
Overruled. You may answer.
One was 21 and the other one was 14.
Do you recall providing a physical description of Mr. Brooks, the person you've referred to as Mr. Brooks today, back on November 21st when you met with the police?
Objection, I do not consent to being called that name.
Mr. Brooks, that's not a valid objection at this time. Go ahead, you may
I don't
answer.
consent to being called that name.
Go ahead and answer.
Yes, I'm sorry, could you repeat the question?
Back on November 21st, when you met with the police, did you provide a physical description of the man who came up your driveway?
Yes.
Objection, relevancy.
Overruled.
What was the physical description you provided?
It was a black male, mid-30s at the time, dreadlocks, tied up in a band. He had tattoos. One I noticed above his right eye, and some he had on his arms, but it was kind of dark yet, so didn't.
So the darkness prevented you from being able to see any detail of the arm tattoos?
Yes.
Objection, leading.
Overruled.
Your Honor, could you please instruct Mr. Brooks to remove his mask momentarily?
Mr. Brooks, please remove your mask and look at the witness.
Mr. Caproon, the person you've described today as walking up your driveway, the person who you've referred to as Mr. Brooks today, do you see that person in the courtroom today?
Objection, leading.
Overruled. You may answer, sir.
I consent to being called that name either.
Yes.
Could you please point to him and then tell us what he's wearing?
He's wearing a suit and tie.
Your Honor, let the record reflect, please, that the witness has identified the defendant.
The record will so reflect.
And that he pointed with his right hand towards Mr. Brooks.
Thank you for that.
Objection, I
additional-
don't consent to being called that name. For the record.
Whose phone, you described handing a phone to Mr. Brooks, whose phone was it?
Objection, I don't consent to being called that name.
Your objection is noted, although it's not legally relevant at this time, and I'd ask that you not interrupt with an objection for that reason under 906-11. Go ahead, Attorney Witchell, your question again.
Called that name.
Whose phone was it that you handed to the man in your driveway?
That was my fault.
And did you see what that man did with the phone?
Objection, leading.
Overruled. You may answer.
He called a number on the phone, or called somebody, which I, at the time, thought was Uber.
Did that man then hand the phone back to you at some point?
Yes.
When you met with the police, did they ask to see your phone?
Yes.
And the purpose of that was to try and see the number that
Yes.
Mr. Brooks had called?
Objection,
Overruled.
no consent to being called that name.
Yes.
Would you please show for the witness only, exhibit number 74, a photograph?
Go ahead.
Objection, relevancy.
Overruled.
Grounds.
It's relevant.
Mr. Caproon, do you see a photograph on the screen in front of you?
Yes.
What are we looking at here?
This is the number that Mr. Brooks had called.
Can you read that number out loud for us?
Objection, relevancy.
Overruled.
414-610-2153.
And this is a call history screenshot, is that right? Where we can see all the recent calls to and from that number?
Yes.
Is this an accurate depiction of how your phone screen looked that afternoon as you showed it to the police?
Objection, leading.
Overruled. You may answer, sir.
Yes.
I move Exhibit 74 into evidence and ask for permission to publish.
Objection, relevancy.
Exhibit 74 is received. Permission to publish is granted. The objection's overruled.
Can you zoom in on the bottom half of this photograph? Okay, Mr. Caprone, did you call this number at any point?
Objection, leading.
Overruled. He may answer.
No.
So all three of these calls, outgoing, incoming, and canceled, would have been made by someone other than you.
Yes.
Objection, leading.
And the only person who had your phone during that time frame was who?
Objection,
Me.
leading.
Overruled.
Derek, Mr. Brooks.
After Mr. Brooks handed you your phone back, what happened next?
A lady had called me, and I answered the phone, and I asked her if she was an Uber, and she told me she wasn't an Uber.
Did she say anything else?
Objection, leading.
Overruled.
No.
Is the call that you're talking about, the lady who called you, was that incoming call from that 414 number we just looked at?
Objection, leading.
Sustain as to the form of the question.
Did you recognize the number that called you?
I didn't recognize, I didn't look at the number, I just answered the phone.
And it was recorded in your phone's call history?
Yes.
And it was the same number that Mr. Brooks had used your phone to dial?
Objection, leading, and I don't consent to being called that name.
Overruled. I'm sorry, I took the exhibit down. Did you need it back up?
No, we're done.
All right, thank you.
And that was a yes, just to be clear.
Yes.
Did Mr. Brooks leave at some point?
Objection, I don't consent to being called that name.
Yes.
Did you see what direction he went when he left?
I guess it would be like the southwest part of my property, heading westerly towards my neighbors.
Do you know what street he was headed, or he appeared to be headed toward?
Objection, speculative.
Overruled. You may answer, sir.
Well, Central Avenue was an L Street, and he was heading towards Central.
Thank you, Your Honor, that's all.
All right, very well. Any questions, Mr. Brooks, for this
Yes.
witness?
I don't consent to being called that name for the record. Do you recall giving a statement to a Detective Schwartz?
I'm not sure what his name was.
I'm referring to a Detective Mandy L. Schwartz, so that would be a woman.
There was a female, yes.
And do you recall giving a statement to the woman law enforcement officer?
Yes.
Do you recall if that was the same night or days immediately after?
It was the same night.
And do you recall in that statement if you were asked about a description of the person in your driveway?
Yes.
Do you recall what you said?
Yes.
I mean, you stated for the record and for the jury?
Yes. Oh, a black male, 30s, dreadlocks, red shirt, jeans, no shoes, no jacket.
If it pleases the court, I have the statement here, and I would like to show the witness.
Is it his written statement?
It's the, I'm guessing, whatever statement he gave to Detective Shorts.
Is it a written statement?
I don't know if it's a written statement.
Would this be the police report?
Yeah.
If it's not his written statement, then I'm gonna deny that request to show it to the witness. You may ask a question.
Do you recall in your report with Detective Shorts that you described the male as approximately 5'5" to 5'6", weighing approximately 120 to 125 pounds, and the male appeared to be in his 20s?
Yeah, I don't recall.
Any reason why this report would say that, and then you would, when you were asked the description, you gave a different description? Any reason why the two would conflict?
Objection,
Grounds?
argumentative, and misstates the evidence.
Sustained.
Reason for the sustain? Grounds for the sustain?
Sustained as to the form of the question. And it misstates the testimony in part.
Well, I'm reading from the report that was given to the detective.
And you can't testify as to what that report says. You can only question the witness on it, sir.
That was a question. Do you recall?
He said he did not recall. Next question.
Any reason why your description would change from that night till now?
I'm not sure.
You made reference to when the male that was in your driveway left your driveway, they went towards Central, I think is what you said. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah.
Do you recall stating in your report that they went in the direction of West Avenue?
Yes.
Would it be fair to say that that's two different directions?
Yes.
Any reason why that would change from then till now?
Not sure.
And you made reference to it being kind of dark, so it was a little hard to tell about certain aspects of that interaction. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
Would you say it was dark or dusk?
Dusk.
So it'd be fair to say that you were unable to identify tattoos?
I would be able to, yes.
You would be able to identify tattoos, or you wouldn't?
No, I saw tattoos.
But you couldn't make out because of the lighting. You couldn't make them out. Would that be fair to say?
I can make out tattoos.
Do you recall stating that you were not able to identify the tattoos?
In description, or in detail, sorry.
And not being able to make out in detail would be referring to the tattoos on the arms?
Yes.
During that interaction in the lighting, you could tell that there was some type of rubber band or tie in the hair?
Yes.
Do you recall what color that might have been?
No, I don't.
You made reference to a number calling you back and you not looking at the number but just answering. Do you recall stating that?
Yes.
Did you ever at any time ask who that was that called?
I just asked if it was an Uber driver.
You stated that your sons were with you in the driveway?
Yes.
Was there any interaction with your sons at that time?
Don't recall.
Do you recall stating that the male did not have any interactions with either of your sons?
No.
Do you recall stating that the male you had the interaction with, do you recall stating that you did not really think he was understanding what you were telling him?
I don't understand the question.
that would be in reference to, you stating that your neighbor was an Uber driver, did you? Or a Lyft driver, was, I think the word you said. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
And you stated that you don't recall if the individual went to your neighbor's house at that time. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
And do you recall about what time of the evening that was when you had the interaction?
I'm not quite sure what time it was at that time.
Do you recall around what time you were subpoenaed to testify here today?
No, I think the letter came in the mail in July.
And did you follow up with the district attorney's office at that point?
Yes.
Do you recall whom you spoke with?
Not quite sure the names, but
You made let the record reflect, you made a hand gesture with your left hand. Would that be referring to the table,
yes,
the prosecution table?
yes,
So you recall speaking to one of those attorneys?
yes.
Do you recall whom?
The gentleman here.
I'll stipulate that Mr. Caproon's pointing at me.
Yeah.
Right, the record will still reflect.
And at any time, did you ever see a police reporter or complaint in this matter?
No.
Did you ever yourself make a claim in this matter?
Don't understand the question.
Did you file a claim?
I don't understand the question.
Did you yourself file a complaint with law enforcement?
No.
Ever spoke with the plaintiff in this matter?
Objection.
Grounds?
Relevance.
Grounds.
Sustained.
Grounds for the sustain, Your Honor.
90611.
Are you aware of any plaintiff in this matter?
Objection.
Grounds.
Relevance.
Sustained. Relevance 90611 as well.
You ever seen the plaintiff in this matter?
Objection.
Grounds?
Sustained. Next question.
Had any conversations or any interactions with the plaintiff?
Objection.
Grounds?
Sustained as to the form of the question.
Ever had a phone conversation with the plaintiff?
Objection.
Grounds?
Sustained as to the form of the question.
Ever been contacted by the plaintiff in any way?
Objection.
Grounds?
Sustained as to the form of the question.
Have you ever contacted the plaintiff in any way?
Objection.
Grounds?
Sustained
Grounds for the sustain, Your Honor?
as to the form of the question.
Have you followed this matter in any way?
No.
So it'd be fair to say you didn't seek to testify in this matter. That'd be fair to say?
Yes.
Were you persuaded in any way to testify in this matter?
No.
Did you prepare in any way to testify in this matter?
No.
And before you were shown Exhibit 74, and that was the call log of your phone, correct? Before, I'm sorry,
Yes.
before today, had you seen that, those photos in reference to your call log?
Yes.
You seen them before today?
Yes.
Did you anticipate seeing them today?
Yes.
How so?
Through sorry.
It's okay.
Through the district attorney.
So you were informed that you would see those same photos by the district attorney?
Yes.
Were you at any time told what to say by the district attorneys?
No.
even aware of a plaintiff in this matter?
Objection.
Grounds
Sustained.
for the sustain, Your Honor.
I previously sustained it. Next question.
Grounds for the sustain, Your Honor.
Next question. Under 90611, please continue. Otherwise, I'll declare the cross-examination
You
ended.
can declare whatever you want to. No further questions.
Thank you. Any redirect?
Very briefly, thank you, Judge. Mr. Caprone, I just want to clarify the geography of your neighborhood, okay? So back where you were living on November 21st of last year on Central Avenue, does Central run east to west, north to south, or something else?
Objection, leading.
Overruled. You may answer, sir.
Central runs east and west and north and south.
What direction does it run where you were living at the time?
Objection, leading.
East and west.
Overruled. It's not leading. You may answer.
Objection, relevancy.
It's relevant. You may answer, sir.
East and west.
And where does it change and run north and south?
Objection, relevancy.
Overruled.
It changes my neighbor's house, and then it turns north and south.
That happens to the west of where your
Yes.
house was?
Objection, leading.
Overruled. His answer may stand. Chelsea, yes.
Yes.
Where is West Avenue in relation to where your house was?
Objection, relevancy.
Overruled.
West.
So is it fair to say that if you're standing in your driveway at the time and head west, you would hit where Central Avenue turns, and then if you kept going, you'd hit West Avenue?
Objection, leading.
Overruled.
Yes.
So is it also fair to say that if you're heading towards Central Avenue, you're also heading toward West Avenue?
Objection, leading.
Overruled.
Yes.
You recall meeting with myself and my colleagues here a few weeks ago?
Objection,
Yes.
relevancy.
Overruled.
Do you remember where that meeting took place?
Here.
In the courthouse?
Yeah.
During business hours?
Objection, relevancy.
Overruled. You questioned him about meeting with the prosecution. These are proper.
I didn't question him about the time.
It's proper redirect. Go ahead, sir. You may answer.
Yes.
We discussed your potential testimony, is that right?
Yes.
Were we asking you questions about November 21st?
Objection, speculative.
Overruled. You may answer.
Yes.
We showed you the photograph of the call log, right?
Yes.
And you had an independent recollection. You had seen that call log before because it's from your own file.
Objection, leading.
Sustained as to the form of the question.
Had you ever seen that photograph before?
Yes.
And had you ever looked at your phone screen before?
Objection, leading.
Not leading. It's relevant, and he may answer.
Yes.
Did we at any time give you a script for your testimony today?
Objection, asked during cross.
It's redirect. It's proper, and you may answer. It's overruled.
No.
Thank you, Your Honor. That's all I have.
All right, thank you, sir. You may step down. Statement called. Next witness.
Thank you. The state calls Aaron Cordes.
Good morning. If you would please make your way to the witness stand, which is on my right. It is up one riser. When you get there, please remain standing and raise your right hand. My clerk, Teresa, who's on my left, will swear you in.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. Thank you. Please be seated. First thing I will ask you to do is to state your first and last names for the record and spell each.
Erin Cordes, first name E-R-I-N, Last name Cordes, Cordes.
Thank you. Go ahead, your witness.
Thank you. Good morning, Ms. Cordes.
Good morning.
Ma'am, I'd like to direct your attention to the date of November 21, 2021. Did you attend the Waukesha Christmas parade that afternoon?
Yes, I did.
And who did you attend the parade with?
My husband and my 2 children.
Do you recall from what location you watched the parade?
Objection, relevancy.
Overruled, she may answer.
We watched it from the corner of West and Wisconsin.
Okay. And do you understand that to be near the end of the parade route?
Objection, leading.
Overruled, she may answer.
I believe it was close to the end. The parade rounded the corner and continued on, and I don't know exactly where it ended.
Okay. And as you were at that location watching the parade, did something unusual happen?
Objection, leading.
Overruled.
Yes, we saw a car going pretty fast around the corner, and I remember my husband said that's not part of the parade. Grab the kids, because our kids were in the middle of the road picking up candy at the time.
Okay.
So, and the car just did not stop and kept going.
Was there a police officer present at that corner?
Yes, there was.
What did you see the police officer do?
Well, the car, I thought it was coming at us for a minute, but it ended up swerving and going through the barricades, and the police officer fired 3 shots at the vehicle.
You were standing right there at that intersection.
Yes, I was.
Objection.
Objection is noted, it's overruled. Her answer may stand. Next question, go ahead.
What did you do after that, ma'am?
Well, we ran up to the house behind us as the car was coming at us, and I was just kind of keeping an eye out for the car at the time, because it looked like it was out of control, and I didn't know if it was going to go up to the house we were at or what direction it was going, so we just stayed by the house for a little, just kind of in shock.
Okay.
After that happened.
Okay. And at some point, did you decide to leave the area?
Yes, we did.
Where did you go?
We were parked a little bit further away because we had gotten to the parade late, so we were parked a few blocks out of the way on Elizabeth Street.
Okay.
At Aries Industries.
Do you have some familiarity with Aries Industries?
Yes, I do.
Relevancy.
Overruled, she may answer. Do me a favor, if there is an objection, wait until I rule on it before you answer.
Okay.
Thank you. Go ahead.
And what's your familiarity with Aries Industries?
Objection.
Overruled.
My husband is employed at Aries Industries.
Do you happen to know the address of that location?
Objection, relevancy.
Overruled. You may answer.
I don't offhand, no.
Do you know what street it's on?
Objection, relevancy.
Overruled.
Leading.
It's not leading. Overruled. You may answer.
Yes, Elizabeth Street.
Okay. And how were you able to, well, strike that. You were walking back to Aries Industries, that's where you had parked, right?
Correct.
What was your route or your path that you took?
We continued straight on West Avenue until we got to Elizabeth Street, and then took a right on Elizabeth Street.
Okay. Pretty much a straight shot?
Yes.
Just a couple blocks
Yes.
down West Avenue, and then you hang a right on Elizabeth?
Correct.
Okay. As you were doing that, making your way back to your car, did you encounter somebody out on foot?
Yes, we did.
Tell us about that, please.
Objection, leading.
Overruled. She may answer.
We had just rounded the corner onto Elizabeth Street, and Darryl Brooks, we encountered Darryl Brooks. He came out of the shadows between a couple houses and approached us.
Okay. Now, you refer to this person by name. Did you know Mr. Brooks prior to this encounter?
No.
Okay. Never met him before?
Correct.
Objection.
And you said he...
Hold on.
I'm sorry.
The objection came after her answer. Her answer will stand. Next question.
You said he kind of came out of, did you say the bushes?
Objection.
What did you say?
Objection.
Well, overruled. She rephrased. He may answer. She may answer. I'm sorry.
It appeared he came from between 2 houses, so I don't know exactly where he was.
Okay. And did you notice his appearance when he approached you?
Objection, leading.
Overruled.
Yes, I did.
What did you notice?
I just remember it was a very windy, cold night, and he was dressed pretty inappropriately for the night. I noticed he was visibly shivering. He had a red short sleeve t-shirt on and was not wearing shoes.
Do you see the same person present in this courtroom here today?
Yes, I do.
Your Honor, I'm going to ask that Mr. Brooks be instructed to remove his mask and look at the witness so she can properly identify him, please.
Mr. Brooks, please unmask and look at the witness. Sir, would you please unmask and look at the witness? Thank you.
I'm writing something down.
All right, thank you. Just want to make sure you heard me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Is that the gentleman you encountered on the street that you're describing for us, ma'am?
Yes, it is.
Did Mr. Brooks speak to you in any way?
Objection. I do not consent to being called that name.
You may answer.
Yes, he did.
What did he say?
Objection, leading.
Overruled.
He asked if either of us had a phone that he could use. And we said, we hesitated because it was strange. It was a strange encounter. And after what we just witnessed at the parade, where I think we were both pretty much on edge at that point, so.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. When you're referring to we, who are you referring to?
Sorry, my husband and I.
Okay, go ahead. So he asked for the phone.
Correct.
You kind of pause.
Yep.
And then what'd you do?
Objection,
then-
leading.
Overruled. Go ahead, you may answer.
His next words were, "I'm not going to hurt you, I just need to use your phone." And that's when I gave him my phone.
Okay. Did he use your phone? Did you see him manipulate your phone in some fashion?
Objection. What do you mean by manipulate?
Overruled. She may answer.
I'm sorry, what was the question again?
Did you see him use your phone in some way?
Yes, I did.
What did you see him do?
Objection, leading.
Overruled. You may answer.
He called his mom.
Could you hear what he was saying on his end?
Yes, I could hear what he was saying.
Could you hear the responses being provided by the person on the other end of the phone?
Objection, speculative.
Overruled. You may answer.
No, I could not hear the other side of the conversation.
Okay. Tell us to the best of your memory what you remember Mr. Brooks was saying into the phone.
Objection, I don't consent to being called that name.
Go ahead and answer,
ask
please.
not to be called that name, thank you.
He just kept asking his mom to call him an Uber. And he wasn't responding to anything that she was asking. He just kept repeating, "Call me an Uber, I need an Uber now."
Did he sound urgent in his voice?
Objection, leading.
Sustained as to the form of the question.
How did his voice sound?
There was a sense of urgency that he needed an Uber and he needed it now.
And he was specifically referring to the person he was speaking to by what name?
Mom.
Objection, leading.
Overruled. She will answer. Her answer will stand.
At some point, did Mr. Brooks turn his attention to you and ask a question to you as he was still on the phone?
Objection, I don't consent to being called that name.
Go ahead and answer.
He asked for the address where we were located at the time.
What did you tell him?
I do not know the address, so I asked my husband what the address was, and he provided the answer.
Okay. And again, you're very close to your husband's workplace.
We were actually in the parking lot at that time.
Okay. I'm gonna, well, let me ask you this. At some point, did he terminate his phone call?
Objection, leading.
Overruled. You may answer.
Yes, he did.
And what happened then?
He said that he was freezing and he asked if I knew of any place that he could go warm up. So my husband directed him towards the lobby of Aries.
Okay. Did he return your phone, did he return your phone to you?
Yes, he did.
Okay. And did you see if he left your presence, where did he go?
Objection, leading.
Overruled.
He went up to the lobby.
You saw that?
Yes.
Okay. Where did you go?
We were pretty on edge at that point, so we put our kids in the car as quickly as possible and drove down the road.
Okay. I'm going to show you some exhibits on the screen in front of you, okay? First is 171, I'm sorry. Do you see a photograph on the screen in front of you, ma'am?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Do you recognize anybody or any place in that photograph?
Objection, leading.
Overruled.
I recognize the Aries building in the background and Daryl Brooks on the porch.
Okay. 171's previously been omitted, Your Honor. I'm going to request permission to publish again.
Permission granted.
Objection.
All right.
It's noted, it's overruled. It's already been received.
Ms. Cordes, that's a touch screen in front of you. Could you just please point out Aries Industries and specifically, if you can, the area where you saw Mr. Brooks head for the lobby of the building?
Objection, I don't consent to being called that name again for the record.
Jury will disregard that last comment by the defendant.
So do you want me to circle?
Yeah, circle or X or dot, whatever.
It's way in the other corner over here, so it's hidden by the trees.
Okay. So the area where you first encountered Mr. Brooks, is that actually shown in this photograph?
Objection, I don't consent to being called that name.
Jury will disregard that comment.
I don't consent. For the record.
Go ahead and answer, ma'am.
It's more over here where we were parked. There's a second parking lot over there.
Okay. And then the person in the photograph, can you circle the person, please? Is that what Mr. Brooks looked like that evening when you spoke to him?
Objection, I don't consent to being called that name.
Go ahead and answer.
Yes.
Now we're going to put up Exhibit 76. And we're going to play it for you first before it gets shown to the jury, okay? So let me know when it's up, please.
It's on her screen.
Okay, thank you. For the record, this is a clip that's 53 seconds long. I'm just going to play maybe the first 10 seconds or so and see if she recognizes. All right, we've played about the first 10 seconds of that clip. Do you recognize what is shown in this video, ma'am?
Yes, I do.
What do you recognize it to be?
It's the lobby of Aries Industries.
Okay. And is this the door that you directed Mr. Brooks to?
Objection, I don't consent to being called that name.
You may answer, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay. Do you believe this video is a true and accurate depiction of the events of November 21 of 21?
Yes, I do.
Move to Exhibit 76 and permission to publish, Your Honor.
I believe there was an objection. It's noted. It's overruled. Exhibit 76 is received and permission to publish is granted.
The witness wasn't there in this video. How could it be relevant?
Your objections? Noted, sir.
How could it be
We're going to
relevant?
play it in its entirety, Your Honor. As soon as the jury's got it. They got it? Okay, thank you. Play. Okay, we can pause it at the 39 second or 40 second mark. I said we'll play the whole thing, but did you see a person approach the doors to the building during the video?
Yes, I did. I saw Daryl Brooks approach the door.
And is that consistent with what you saw that night as you watched Mr. Brooks?
Yes.
Objection, I don't consent to being called that name.
And now that you look at the door, do you see the address for the building on the door?
Yes, I do.
And what is the address, please?
550.
Does that sound right?
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. I don't have any other questions.
All right. Mr. Brooks may have questions for you. Any cross, sir?
I don't consent to being called that name, for the record.
Your cross, please.
Can I get to it? You just stated that before the interaction with the person that you had, you didn't know him. That be fair to say?
Yes, that's fair to say.
So how could you refer to him by name if you didn't know him?
I have seen the news since then, and the video of you being arrested, and you had since been identified on TV.
So that's how you came to the name?
That's correct.
So it'd be fair to say that you got that off of news reports?
That's correct.
You said the individual you spoke with seemed out of place and disoriented, like he didn't know where he was. Would that be fair to say?
That's correct.
And how would you characterize disoriented?
You just seemed very, very nervous and that you didn't know where you were.
Who's you?
You had specifically said, I don't know where I am.
Who's you?
Or where am I, specifically?
So disoriented would, from your perspective, be exactly what?
Disoriented as you did not know where you were.
And you made reference to your phone being used, right?
That's correct.
And you also made reference to not being able to hear the person on the other line.
That's correct.
But you also made reference to not the person who used your phone not being able or not answering what was being asked to them. That'd be fair to say?
Objection. That's a compound question, vague and unclear.
Sustained is to the form of the question.
If you couldn't hear what was being said on the other end of the line, how can you say that there was questions being asked?
Well, there was clearly a conversation going on, and you just kept repeating, just call me an Uber, that you were very frustrated. Whoever was asking questions of you, and just to call you an Uber. It's just my interpretation of it. I could not hear the other end of the phone conversation.
So it'd be fair to say you don't know what was being discussed?
Besides call me an Uber, yes, that's correct.
Do you recall the description you gave in your written statement?
Yes, I believe so.
You believe so?
Yes, I recall the description I gave.
And what was that?
The description I gave was an African-American male, about 160 pounds, 5'8", wearing a red t-shirt, no shoes.
And you referred to this individual coming from between houses, you said?
That's correct.
Is that what you actually saw?
Yes, that's what I saw. I saw you approach us at the very start of the block from between two houses.
Any reason why that's not in your written statement?
I don't recall. I didn't actually write it. There was a detective at our house that was writing the statement for it. Maybe that part got missed. I'm not sure.
Was it this statement?
I don't have it in front of me to see it.
Permission to show the witness the written statement?
Well, I don't know that it's necessary, Your Honor. She hasn't expressed any inability to recall. Sustained.
She did. She just said she don't know why something was not in her written statement.
That's, what she said is she doesn't know why the detective didn't write it in there. The detective is the one who wrote it, Your Honor.
So
were
sustained,
you-
next, sustained
so
is to
were
the
you-
form of, Mr. Brooks, let me answer. Sustained is to the form of the question.
So the officer was writing what you told him, or did you actually write it yourself?
I did not actually write it myself. The detective was writing it as we were speaking, my husband and I.
Do you recall that officer's name?
No, I do not.
You made reference, when you were at the parade, you made reference to seeing a car swerve, or you said the car was swerving toward you.
It looked like a car that was out of control. I didn't know which direction it was headed.
And you said you saw it drove toward the barricade.
Correct. I saw it drive through the barricade.
When you say through the barricade, describe that.
The car sped up and drove straight through the barricade and continued on West Avenue.
Do you recall if this barricade was standing up or low down?
I do not recall that. I was in the middle of the road to prevent traffic from coming through, so I don't know if it was, I would assume it was standing up.
And was it at that same moment that you saw officer fire shots?
That's correct.
Do you recall how many shots?
3 shots.
Did you see if the shots hit the vehicle, the cars you say?
No, I did not. I was running up towards the house at the time with my son in my arms, and I was just trying to keep an eye on the vehicle, so I did not see where the shots actually went.
Did you see a vehicle hit anyone?
No, I did not.
Could you see into the vehicle when you saw it?
No, I could not.
And you said the vehicle went down West Street?
West Avenue, correct.
Did you see where it went from there? Or did it just go straight down West Avenue?
It continued on West Avenue. I was, at one point, the house was blocking the road, so I couldn't see where the vehicle continued on.
Anything else stick out to you about that day?
I don't know. Just, I mean, besides seeing the vehicle and the police firing shots and then running into you afterwards, I mean, that was strange enough.
Do you recall what day you gave the statement? Was
Not
it the
exactly.
same night, or was it a few days after, or a week, or?
It might have been up to a week later. I don't know the exact date.
Recall why it took so long?
I don't know. I received a phone call from a detective probably almost a week later, and I would assume that they had a lot of other people to attend to, other witnesses to get to. It was not a priority at the time. I was not.
So it'd be fair to say by that time you had saw news reports and had learned information about what happened.
Correct.
Before today, had you seen any of the video footage or photos that you saw today? Had you seen any of those before today?
Are you talking about the video of you being arrested, or I guess I don't understand the question.
The video footage that you saw today. Had you seen that before today?
I did see the Aries Industries clip before, yes.
What about the other exhibit that was shown?
I recognize that from a ring video I had seen from the arrest.
So it'd be fair to say a lot of what you learned came from news reports.
After the incident, yes.
Did you make any claim in this matter? filed a claim?
What kind of a claim?
Have you filed any claim?
No.
You filed a complaint?
I just gave a witness statement to the detectives. I did not file a complaint specifically.
About what time did you learn that you could possibly testify in this matter?
Objection, relevance.
Grounds.
Overruled, she may answer.
When I received a subpoena in the mail from the DA's office.
Do you recall whose name was on that subpoena?
Sue Opper.
Do you see Sue Opper in court today?
Yes, I do.
Can you point her out for the jury and for the record?
I'll stipulate, Your Honor.
Thank you. Record will reflect the stipulation and the witness identifying Attorney Opper.
Do you recall around what time you received that subpoena?
I don't recall exactly, no.
After you received the subpoena, did you follow up with the district attorney's office at that point?
They contacted me.
Attorney Opper did?
Someone from the witness. I don't know what her exact title is. So it's someone from the DA's office. It's not specifically Sue Opper.
Like a witness advocate type of?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
Was it like a witness advocate?
I don't know what her exact title is.
Do you recall her name?
Yeah, her name is Carrie.
After you learned of the additional information, did you read any police reports or a complaint?
No.
Are you aware who the plaintiff may be in this matter?
Objection, irrelevant.
Sustained.
Ever been notified who the plaintiff is in this matter?
Objection,
Grounds.
irrelevant.
Sustained.
Grounds for the sustain, Your Honor.
Next question, please.
Do you even know if there's a plaintiff in this matter?
Yes, there is.
And who is the plaintiff?
I believe it's the state of Wisconsin.
Would that constitute a breathing human being or an entity?
Objection,
Grounds.
argumentative, irrelevant.
Grounds.
Sustained.
Are you aware that only a human being can bring a complaint or be a plaintiff?
Objection, misstatement of the law.
Sustained.
You ever had any interaction with the state of Wisconsin?
Objection,
Grounds.
irrelevant.
Sustained.
Grounds for
Sir,
the
under 90611, please. Move on.
Have you ever contacted the state of Wisconsin in this matter?
Objection,
Grounds.
irrelevant.
Sustained.
Grounds for the sustain?
Under 90611, move on, or I'll declare the cross-examination ended.
Of course you would. No further questions.
Let me redirect.
Nothing further, thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, ma'am. You may step down. This will also be a very good opportunity to take a mid-morning break. All rise for the jury, please. For the parties, please be back in 10 minutes. We are in recess.
That's great.
No, sorry. It's just like whatever. So just
All right, thank you. Everyone, please be seated. State, have the next witness available?
yes.
Yep, no, I know. I need the
Yeah,
jury.
yes, we're
Right
ready.
back on the record. We'll have the jury brought out.
Okay.
I know I did that once, but I'm not going to do that again.
Audio on.
Not yet. Now it is. You got to,
I gotta get faster on that.
yep.
Sometimes I just forget.
Are we gonna address subject matter jurisdiction?
No.
Still has yet to be proven for the record. Is that a judicial determination that you don't have to answer that, Your Honor?
Mr. Brooks, I've already answered subject matter jurisdiction. You know that full well.
No, I don't.
The decision was entered last week.
I know nothing. It has yet to be proved, that's what I know.
Doesn't need to be proved.
It does. It has to be proven by the prosecution. You know that.
No, I actually know to the contrary, so we're not going to address it.
So show me a lawful law that it says that.
Mr. Brooks, I provided you with the law.
No,
I'll
you
give
have
you
not.
You know what, I'll have my clerk print off another copy of that order. so
You don't have to
it.
do that. Have
No,
her
I'm going
print.
to, because you apparently didn't read
No,
it, so
have her
I'll need
print
to
off
read it this
proof.
time.
Have her print off proof that you have subject matter jurisdiction. How about that? It has to be proven
Mr.
for the
Brooks,
record. It has
you
yet
are
to be
simply
proven.
wrong as a matter of
No,
law.
I'm not. If I'm wrong, then show me that I'm wrong.
I've given you the constitutional and
No, you haven't.
statutory authority.
No,
and
you
the
have
case law.
not. You have not proven it on the record.
It doesn't need to be proven, sir.
It does need to be proven.
I believe the jury's coming in.
All
They're
right.
coming in.
I believe that. You gotta prove it. You gotta prove subject matter jurisdiction. I accept for value in return for value that document. It's not proof of subject matter jurisdiction, for the record.
Thank you, everyone. Please be seated. State may call its next witness.
The state will call Anthony Winters.
All right. Good morning, sir. If you would please make your way to the witness stand, which is on my right. It is upper riser. When you get there, please remain standing. Raise your right hand. My clerk, Teresa, who's on my left, will swear you in.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Please be seated. First thing I will ask you to do is to state your first and last names for the record and then spell each.
Anthony Winters, Anthony Winters.
Thank you. Go ahead, your witness.
Thank you. Sir, direct your attention to November 21st, 2021. Were you working in the city of Waukesha that day?
Yes,
What were you doing?
I was driving Lyft.
Can you explain for those few people, I think, who don't know what Lyft is, can you explain what that is?
It's a ride share app where people can request rides from point A to point B.
Now, some people use Uber. Is that similar?
Yes, same thing.
And is that your full-time job?
No,
Did you go to the parade, the city of Waukesha parade that day?
I did not.
Were you aware that the parade was in downtown Waukesha that day?
Objection, lady.
Overruled, he may answer.
Yes, I was.
How were you aware of that?
Everything was blocked off and there was heavy police presence, and then I saw kind of the convoy going.
Okay. So you say everything was blocked off. What do you mean by that?
Like a lot of the streets, when I was having to go pick up people, a lot of the streets were blocked off, so I couldn't go certain ways.
Do you recall approximately what time you started driving that day?
It was around like 3:25.
Mr. Winters, do me a favor. If there is an objection that's been raised by either party, wait to answer the question. I'll rule on the objection and then I'll let you know.
Yes, ma'am.
So the objection is noted, it's overruled, and you may continue answering.
Yes, ma'am.
And you said,
3:25.
thank you. And do you know approximately how many fares you took that day?
That
Objection,
day,
speculative.
Overruled, he may answer.
that day it was probably anywhere from like about 11 or 12, somewhere in there.
Were your clients all from the city of Waukesha? Was that the general area they were working?
Objection, irrelevant.
Overruled, you may answer.
No, I just happened to be in that area at that time.
At some point after, do you know approximately what time you got done working that night?
Oh, it was probably later, around like 10, 11 o'clock that night.
When you got home, did you see anything on the news?
No,
At some point, did you become aware of an incident that had occurred during the city of Waukesha Christmas parade?
yes.
Objection, leading.
Overruled, he may answer. His answer may stand.
Generally, what information did you obtain?
Objection, leading.
Overruled.
When I saw a bunch of police cars going, I contacted my sister because my niece goes to school at Carroll, and I was wondering what was going on. She told me something that wasn't even true that was going on, but later, after the next day after watching the news and social media, I found out what happened.
Looking back when you were working November 21st, 2021, did anything seem relevant with regard to that news that you saw?
Objection, leading.
Overruled, he may answer.
Yeah, I had a call that was in the area, and it was like it was like just like a really weird call because no one ever showed up, but there was a very descriptive message that I got from the person that asked for the call about who I was looking for.
Okay, so I'm going to direct your attention to that day, November 21st, at approximately 5:15 p.m. What time did that, or how do you receive communication when you get a client?
When you're signed into the app, it'll just pop up. You know, you can accept it or you can decline.
So you say it just pops up. How does it pop up on
my cell phone?
Okay. And did you receive a fare request or a ride request at approximately 5:15?
Objection, leading.
Overruled, he may answer.
Yes, I did.
What information were you given with regard to that request?
Objection, leading.
Overruled, he may answer.
So the fare came in for Dawn, and the address I was picking up at was, I think it was 550 Elizabeth, and it was an empty, well, it wasn't an empty, it was an empty parking lot, but it was a company that was closed. And then I was given information that I was looking for a light-skinned black guy with dreadlocks.
Okay. Now, when you say that was the name associated with Dawn?
Mm-hmm.
That's a yes?
Yes.
Okay. And what does that mean to you? I'm not sure exactly how Lyft works, but
That's just
Objection, relevancy.
Overruled, he may answer.
that's just the name of the person that I'm picking up. That I'm assuming that's the person I'm picking up.
okay. And were you in the city of Waukesha when that pop-up came on your phone?
Yes.
So what did you do?
I drove to the parking lot and waited for and hit that I arrived and waited for whomever was to come out of the company.
And that would be, you said 550 Elizabeth Street?
Yes, ma'am.
And that's in the city of Waukesha?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you receive information as to where you're taking the person when you initially get the pop-up?
Objection, leading.
Overruled, he may answer.
When you initially get the request, you don't know where the person is going until you say that you arrived, then you can see the address that they're going to.
Okay. So, did you eventually arrive at that location?
Yes.
What did you observe?
It was just a dark parking lot and a couple police cars on the street. No one was really around though. It seemed like it was like a closed building. I didn't know, it was just empty parking lot, no one there.
Okay. And did you see anyone, both strike that. When you arrived at the location, do you send something through your app that says, I've arrived?
Objection, leading.
Overruled, you may answer.
Yes, there's a button that you can just click and say I arrived, and it sends a message to the person letting you know that you're out, let them know that you're outside and they have 5 minutes to come out.
Now, is that when you would get the destination on your app?
Yes.
And do you recall what that destination was?
I don't recall the physical address, I just know it was on 19th Street in Milwaukee.
So you said that the automated message went out saying that you were there and that you give that person 5 minutes.
Yes.
What happened after 5 minutes?
I began to message with whomever the person was on the other end, letting them know that I was waiting outside and that I was in a white car.
And this is a chat feature as part of the app?
Yes.
Objection, leading.
Overruled, your answer may stand.
And then what happened?
I received a message back, letting me know who I was looking for, and that they were calling a ride for someone else, and they didn't know where he was. They then again gave me a description of who I was looking for.
And what was that description?
Objection, leading.
Overruled.
Ask and answer.
Overruled, he may answer.
A light-skinned black guy with dreadlocks.
After you were given that information, what did you do?
I sent a message saying I didn't see anyone. I received a message back saying I don't know where he is. His phone died. He called me from someone else's phone. What
did you do then?
At that point, I didn't know. it was a basketball court out there, so I thought I was waiting on a kid.
Okay.
So I didn't want to just leave. So I got out my car, I knocked on the door at the company to see if anybody would come out. I rang the buzzer, got no answer. I got back in my car. I sent the message saying there's no one around. Could they, make sure the person comes out, because I had already been past the 5-minute grace period.
Okay.
I got a message back saying I'll try to call them. I don't know what to tell you.
Then what happened?
At that point, I had been out there for about 7.5 minutes. So at that point, I just canceled the ride.
Approximately what time do you recall canceling the ride?
Objection, lady.
Overruled.
It was around 5:30ish, somewhere around there.
And when someone requests a ride and they don't appear, is there a charge then to that person?
Objection, irrelevancy.
Yeah, there's a charge if they go past the 5-minute grace period. There is a charge.
Okay, thank you. Nothing further. Thank you.
There may be some questions. Any questions for this witness?
Yes. Do you remember about what time the call came in for the lift?
5:15.
Do you recall being interviewed by any law enforcement in the days after that night?
Yes.
And do you know if that was by phone or in person?
It was in person.
Upon arriving at the destination, you were supposed to be giving a lift to someone. Do you recall if there was anything strange about the destination?
Yeah, it was a closed building. There was no one out there, no cars in the parking lot.
And you said you canceled the ride around 5:30ish.
Yeah.
Do you recall what you did from that point?
I took another fare.
Same area or?
Same area.
And you made reference to someone telling you something that wasn't true that was going on. Do you recall what that was?
I do recall what that it was. My sister said that the school told my niece to stay in her dorm because there was an active shooting.
And usually, does your Lyft app have a profile picture attached to it?
No.
Do you recall, when speaking to law enforcement, something to the effect of referring to a profile picture or description included in the profile?
I recall saying that there was no profile picture.
And were you able to see any phone numbers or contact information?
I was not. You can't see that stuff on the app.
Before you canceled the ride, do you recall the last contact with the person who had set the Lyft up?
Yes, I'm pretty sure they said, I don't know what to tell you, when I told them that I didn't see anyone.
And that was via text message?
It's a chat through the app.
And you said usually, even if it's no pickup, there's a charge still associated with it?
Yep.
Do you recall how many requests you completed after that failed one?
Approximately 8 to 10.
And you did state that you were not at the parade that that evening, right?
True.
No further question.
All right, thank you. Any redirect?
No.
All right, thank you, sir. You may step down. State may call its next witness, please.
The state calls Daniel Ryder.
Good morning, Mr. Ryder. If you would please make your way to the witness stand, which is to my right. It is up a riser. When you get there, please remain standing. Raise your right hand. My clerk, Teresa, who's on my left, will swear you in.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Please have a seat. First thing I will ask you to do is to state and spell your first and last names for the record.
Daniel Ryder, Danielrider.
Thank you. Go ahead, your witness.
Thank you. Sir, do you live in the city of Waukesha?
I do.
Where were you living back on November 21st of 2021?
553 Elizabeth Street.
Were you living there, were you home there that afternoon and early evening, that Sunday afternoon?
I was.
Was anybody else home with you?
No.
Can you describe what that residence looks like? Is it a single-family house, multi-unit? What's it look like?
Yeah, it's
Overruled. You may answer.
it's a three or four bedroom house with 2 bathrooms. It's a Cape Cod style home, land and stone. It's got a 2.5 car garage.
Okay. Do you know what Aries Industries is?
Yeah.
Where is Aries Industries in relation to the house you're describing?
Objection leading.
Overruled. Witness may answer.
Yeah, Aries is right across the street from my house.
That afternoon, November 21st, were you aware that the Waukesha Christmas parade was taking place?
Yes, I was aware of the parade.
Did you attend the parade?
No.
Okay. Did you watch the Packer game?
I did watch the Packer earlier that day, but I was watching the Chiefs-Cowboys game that evening. Or that, I think it was afternoon. I don't know exactly what time it was, but.
Do you recall what happened at approximately 5 o'clock p.m. that day?
Objection leading.
Overruled. You may answer.
Yeah, so earlier that day I was in my hometown Prairie du Chien for deer season, and then I drove back to Waukesha. I got home in Waukesha, my home in Waukesha, around 4 o'clock, and was watching the game, and then about 5 o'clock my Ring doorbell goes off, and then there's a gentleman at my front porch knocking on the door saying that they're homeless, they're cold, and they need to use my phone so that they can tell their Uber where to pick them up.
What did that gentleman look like?
He was African American. He had long hair and a beard.
Do you remember what he was wearing?
Yeah, he had a red T-shirt, reddish orange T-shirt, and no shoes on, pants. But I remember it stood out to me because it was cold and really windy that day, and he was outside with a T-shirt and no shoes and saying he's really cold, so that stood out.
You mentioned a few moments ago your Ring doorbell. Is that a device affixed to your exterior door frame?
Objection leading.
Overruled.
It's fixed to the outside of my porch, so not quite on the door, but just next to the door. Yeah.
Okay. And does that capture video?
Objection leading.
Overruled.
Yes.
What about audio?
Yes.
Objection leading.
Overruled.
Did your Ring video doorbell capture the video and audio of your initial interaction with that gentleman on the afternoon of November 21st?
Objection leading.
Overruled.
The Ring doorbell, when it senses motion, it takes a 20-second snippet, and the 20 seconds that I got from the initial interaction was just the suspect coming up to my house and knocking on the door and saying he's homeless and needs help. I didn't get the verbal interaction that I had with him on the Ring doorbell because it only filmed 20 seconds.
After the fact, so later that evening, did you speak with law enforcement?
Yes.
And did you subsequently at some point provide that 20-second Ring video doorbell clip to a law enforcement officer?
Yes.
Did you edit it in any way before sending it?
Objection, leading.
No, and there was 4 or 5 different snippets, not just the one 20-second snippet. So there was one, the initial interaction of him coming to the door, and then there was another one of him leaving, and then an interaction there, and then the police coming to the door and him asking to come back inside the house when I wouldn't let him in. So there's 4 clips that I submitted, 4 or 5 that I submitted to the police.
All right, let's work our way through those. Let's start, Your Honor. I'd ask that we please show exhibit number 75 for the witness only.
Objection, relevancy.
Overruled.
Do you see a video on the screen in front of you?
I do.
What are we looking at here?
Objection, leading.
Overruled.
This is Mr. Brooks coming up to my door.
You said Mr. Brooks. Did you know his name at that time?
Not at the time, no.
When did you learn that name?
The officers were using it after the fact, so I don't know, about 5:30 or so that day.
Okay. Does this appear to accurately depict your front porch as it looked as that subject walked up to your door?
Yes.
And this is the video you sent to law enforcement that night, or sometime after that night?
Yes.
Move exhibit 75 into evidence and ask to publish.
Objection.
Exhibit 75 is received permission to publish. Granted.
Objection.
It's noted. Overruled.
As we're waiting for that to pop up in the jury box on their screens, I'll ask you, Mr. Ryder, do you see a date and timestamp on the bottom right-hand corner of this video?
Objection, leading.
Overruled.
I do.
Is that a timestamp that's a feature of Ring, or was that added after the fact?
Objection.
Overruled.
It's a feature of Ring. I didn't add that, yeah.
And to your knowledge, does that timestamp appear to be accurate?
Objection.
Overruled.
Speculative.
Yes, that is accurate.
For the record, the objection was overruled.
This is a 20-second clip. I'm going to ask that we play it once with audio.
Hey, I'm calling an Uber, and I'm supposed to be waiting for it over here, but I don't know when it's coming. Can you call it for me, please? I'm homeless.
Can we pull that back up just to look at the timestamp one more time? Thank you. And just for those of us with not the greatest eyesight, would you mind reading that timestamp on the bottom right hand at the beginning of this exhibit?
Objection, leading.
Overruled.
Yeah, it says November 21st, 2021, and the timestamp says 17:01, so 5:01 p.m.
Okay. The voice we heard in that exhibit that we just played, whose voice is that?
Objection, leading.
Overruled.
Objection.
You may answer, sir.
It's Mr. Brooks's voice.
It's not yours.
No.
Okay. Your Honor, I'd ask that Mr. Brooks please be instructed to remove his face mask momentarily.
Sir, would you please remove your face mask and face the witness?
Was that a question of...
The state's asked, sir, please remove your face mask and face the witness.
I'm confused. He made a statement about voice.
The question's been asked and answered. Please remove your mask.
What was the question?
Please remove your mask and face the witness.
Mr. Ryder, do you see the person depicted in exhibit number 75 in the courtroom today?
Yes.
Can you identify him for us by telling us where he's sitting and what he's wearing?
He's sitting at the table right there wearing a black suit and a gray striped tie.
And has the record reflect that the witness has identified Mr. Brooks?
The record will reflect that the witness has identified the defendant as the person depicted in this video and the person who was on his porch on November 21.
Objection, I don't consent to being called that name, for the record.
Go ahead, your next question, please.
Thank you. What happened in the moments after this video, the 20 seconds that were captured?
So he was on my porch for, I don't know exactly, a minute maybe, and he was telling me the interaction, or he was telling me that he needed to use my phone to let his Uber know where to pick him up, and that he was homeless and cold, and he said he didn't have any weapons or anything on him, and he lifted his shirt real quick. I was like, no, it's okay, you can use my phone, and I let him come inside and warm up. I just tend to believe people, and I'm from a small town, and we have people that need help all the time, because we live right off a highway, so I'm used to, didn't faze me too much. I mean, I was nervous for sure, but I was like, yeah, I can use my phone, and he made it sound like the Uber was going to be here just any second, just needed to know where to pick him up. So I said, yeah, you can come and warm up while you wait for the Uber. And I let him sit on the couch right by the window out front. I said, you can look out here waiting for your Uber. And he's on the phone most of the time after that with his mom. And he's saying the address, 553 Elizabeth Street, is where it needs to come. And, how far away is it? Kind of things like that. But
okay.
I guess is that what you're wondering? Or?
Let me back up. Yeah. You made a motion with your hands there regarding what Mr. Brooks said about not being armed. You do that again, just for anybody who missed it?
Objection, I don't know, not consent to being called that name.
Go ahead and
again, for the record.
Yeah, so I don't remember exactly what the motion was. I remember him saying he didn't have any weapons and he's not dangerous. And I think he lifted his shirt really quickly, but then I was like, don't worry, I'm not worried about that. And so I didn't, it's not like I patted him down or anything like that. But. Okay.
Did you let him in the front door that would be right next to your video doorbell?
I actually...
I can rephrase.
Go ahead, rephrase.
What door did you let Mr. Brooks into your home?
I let him in the back door.
I don't consent to being called that name.
Overruled. Go ahead, you may answer.
Yeah, the back door.
Okay. So he went around the side of the house to get to the back door?
That's right.
Okay. What happened when he got to the back door?
I don't remember exactly. I remember letting him in. Well, I remember, so I just got back hunting, so I asked him to go through the back door so I could make sure I didn't have any weapons laying around. And so after that was good, then I let him in the back door. It's more just to give me a second to make sure nothing was tempting or anything. But I let him in the back door, and I think I gave him a coat right away, and then gave him my phone, and then told him where to sit down. And when I told him to sit in the spot, he didn't move or anything. He stayed right there and listened to me.
What else did you give him?
I gave him a sandwich because he said he was homeless. And I said, I can get you some slippers to put on your feet to warm your feet up. I never did end up giving him slippers. But yeah, so I gave him a jacket to wear while he was at my house. I gave him a spot to sit and wait for the Uber and a sandwich.
You testified earlier that he was on the phone with his mom. How do you know that?
Objection, respectfully to you.
Overruled.
A few reasons. I heard him say mama a lot, and his mother called me, and I didn't answer, but his mom called and left a voicemail after the fact, confirming it.
Whose phone was he using while he was inside your house?
Objection, relevancy.
Overruled.
He's using my personal cell phone.
How would you describe his demeanor as he was inside your house?
Objection, leading.
Overruled. You may answer.
I would say flustered, but also there were many times he was thanking me, and so he was grateful, and he even said, "Thank you so much for showing me love, man," and he was calling me bro, and so it wasn't, I guess that didn't make me feel like I was in any danger at the moment.
Did Mr. Brooks leave your home at some point?
Objection, I don't consent to being called that name.
Overruled. You may answer.
I'm sorry, I've lost train of thought. Can you say it again?
Did he leave your home at some point?
Yeah, he left when I asked him to. So he was in my house for 8 or 9 minutes, and then I was standing in the front door looking outside because I was getting a little nervous because I thought the Uber would be there in a minute or two, not 10. And so after 8 or 9 minutes, I'm looking around outside and I see a police car drive by. And then I see another one coming down the street. And so I tell him, I say, hey, we don't get a lot of police traffic on this street, and I'm getting nervous, and this is just too weird of a situation. You're fine to wait for your Uber, but you need to do it outside of my house. And he was a little bit like, oh, no, it's okay, don't worry about it, don't worry. And I said, no, you need to leave. And then he listened and got up, and I've got video footage of that, of me escorting him outside of my house. He's still on the phone, and he's still got my jacket on, but I just said, you need to leave. Do you want me to say, do you want me to keep going? Or?
I just want you to answer my questions. So.
Okay, yeah.
Let's pause there, though.
Sure.
And show for the witness only, please, exhibit number 77. We'll play a few seconds of this without any audio, and actually, to save time authenticating, Your Honor, I think we'll do this with the remaining 3 videos we have.
Go ahead. So this is
77, yep.
77. All right, thank you.
Play a few seconds, please, without, yep, there we go. Okay, we played 4 seconds from exhibit 77. Do you recognize that clip?
I do.
And what is that?
It was Mr. Brooks walking out first with a jacket on, and me in a long sleeve shirt, a gray shirt, walking out behind him.
Can we show for the witness only, please, exhibit 78?
Go ahead.
We'll play the first couple of seconds of this one, too. Okay. We played the first 8 seconds of that. Did you recognize that clip?
Yes.
What does that show?
That shows Mr. Brooks after I had him leave and get my phone and jacket. He was outside, and then him asking to come back inside because he said he left his ID inside my house. And that was on the audio, but it sounded like he had the audio off for that.
And we'll show you 79 now without any audio as well, just for the witness. Okay. We played 8 seconds of exhibit 79. Do you recognize that video?
Yep.
What does it show?
It shows an officer on my porch after the suspect was put into cuffs, asking if I knew who the suspect was.
Are exhibits 77, 78, and 79 accurate depictions of your porch that night?
Yes.
Overruled. His answer may stand.
Move exhibits 77, 78, and 79 into evidence and ask to publish all 3, please.
Objection.
The objection is noted as to all 3. It is overruled. Exhibits 77, 78, and 79 are received permission to publish. All 3 are granted.
Okay, 77 is up now for everybody. It's a 21-second clip. We're going to play it once with audio, please.
Before you do that, can we just confirm it's in the jury box? Not yet, okay. Let me know.
I guess while we're waiting, we can make use of this time. Mr. Ryder, could you read the time and date stamp for us on the bottom right-hand corner?
Objection, relevancy.
Overruled. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's November 21st, 2021, 17:10, so 5:10 p.m.
All right,
Okay,
thank
we've got
you.
it up for the jurors. Let's play this once with audio. Do you see yourself in that video?
Yes,
What were you wearing in the video?
a gray shirt,
Overruled.
a gray shirt,
Did you hear the wind in that video?
yes.
What do you recall being said in that portion of the video?
Objection, leading.
Overruled.
I'm walking Mr. Brooks outside of my house, and my neighbor, Greg, says, "Are you guys looking for that guy?" And I had no idea of anything at this point, and so I say, "I don't know, this might be him." You can hear that in the audio. I don't know if anybody was able to distinguish that, but that's what was said. And then Mr. Brooks says, "No, no, no." And then I say, "Can I have my phone, please?" And then after that, I say, "Can I have my jacket, please?"
Did he provide those items to you?
He did.
Okay. Can we put up for the jury, please, Exhibit 78? This is a 20-second clip. We will play it once with audio, please.
My ID! My ID!
Mr. Ryder, what happened during that video clip?
Objection, leading.
Overruled.
Mr. Brooks, or I should say the suspect, came to my door, asked to come back inside to look for his ID. I said, "No, I'll look for it. You stay out there." And I was looking underneath the couch and everywhere that he sat for his ID when I hear the police officers saying, "Put your hands up." And
Did you ever find that person's ID?
no,
Did that person leave anything else inside of your house?
no,
Flip-flops?
No.
Sweatshirt?
Objection, leading.
Sustained as to the form of the question. Please rephrase that last question.
What, if anything else, did that suspect leave in your house?
Objection, leading.
Overruled. He may answer.
I didn't find anything left in my house.
Okay. Can we please show for the jury Exhibit 79?
Go ahead.
This is a 19-second clip. We will play it once with audio.
26, Ryder Block, Elizabeth, 126. Hey, do you know this guy? Absolutely not. Okay.
We've paused at 18 seconds. That's the police officer you were talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you, just for the record, read for us the time and date stamp on the bottom right-hand corner here at the 18-second mark of exhibit number 79?
Yeah, it's November 21st, 2021, and the time is 17:12:59 seconds, so 5:12 p.m.
The video is a little bit blurry. Do you know where Mr. Brooks is at this point?
Objection, leading, and I do not consent to being called that name.
Overruled. The objection's noted. You may answer the question.
Yeah, the suspect is on the east side of my walkway, on the northeast side of my house, in my yard. If you see where those two police officer heads are, the suspect is on the grass right there.
That's all I have for this witness. Thank you.
All right, any cross?
Yes, just one second.
Whenever you're ready.
Okay.
Will you be needing any of those videos put back up at any time?
Not that I can think of at the moment.
Thank you.
And before that evening, you didn't know the guy that came to your house, correct?
Correct.
And so why do you refer to him by name if you didn't know him?
Because after the fact, the police officers and other people involved informed me of who the suspect was that was at my house that night.
And it'd be fair to say you captured, or your ring captured quite a little bit of video. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah.
And did you turn over all the ring footage to law enforcement?
I believe so. I mean, there was probably 7 or 8 other snippets of just officers coming in and out. I do believe I turned all that in, but nothing of evidence or anything.
And were you aware that the ring footage was shown on social media platforms?
I was aware, yes.
Any idea how that came about?
Objection.
Grounds.
Relevance.
Grounds.
Overruled, can you answer?
Yeah, I released it.
And you released it. What do you explain what you mean by released it?
Yeah, the news wanted the footage, and I thought that this was good footage for this community and the victims to see some justice of the suspect put into cuffs, so I decided to release it.
And were you paid for that release?
I was.
So it would be fair to say that you profited off your ring footage.
The incentive to release the footage was not to make money, and we donated a lot of money of the money we did see off of it, but yes, the video did make money.
Do you recall how many videos you released?
I believe it was 4.
And you got paid for all 4?
I don't know if it was paid for a per video basis, or we were getting bombarded by the news, so we worked with the agent that then dealt with all the news people, and we just got some off the back end, so I don't exactly know how that works.
So would it be fair to say that you sold that footage?
Yes.
And you stated that you were, while having this interaction, you were a little nervous. Would that be fair to say?
Yes, sir.
Did you feel like you were in any danger or just nervous?
I never felt like I was in danger until I saw the police driving by. Then I did.
But initially, your interactions, you didn't feel like you would be overtaken in any way?
No, and the person at my door was very polite, so I didn't feel in danger.
And you testifies to the effect that you had just arrived back home from hunting that evening?
That's correct. Well, not just arrived, but 4 o'clock probably got home, 4:15.
At that that time, had you heard anything about what happened at the parade?
No, all I knew was that there was a parade that day, but I had not heard of any incident happening at all.
At any time during your interaction with the suspect, did you notice any car keys?
No. It's not to say he didn't have any on him, but I didn't notice any.
You didn't notice any.
Nope.
That'd be fair to say.
Yep, that'd be fair to say.
Did you notice any drug or alcohol?
I didn't personally notice any drug or alcohol. I know there was some substance found on my porch after the fact, but I didn't notice. I think maybe I smelled a little bit of weed or something, but nothing stood out too much.
And you stated that you gave the suspect a jacket and a sandwich?
Yes, sir.
And was that due to the suspect saying that they were homeless and cold, or did you just take the initiative to do that?
I don't remember the suspect asking for food, but I do remember them saying multiple times that they were homeless and cold and needed help, and so I took the initiative to try to help any way I could in the moment. Yeah, I think I offered the jacket and the sandwich. I don't think they ever asked for either one.
And you let them use your phone, correct?
Yes.
And how do you know for sure who they were talking to?
Because the number that they had called me back and left a voicemail saying that they were the mother of the person that just called. She said something to the effect of, "Hi, you just let my son use your phone. I'm calling back to figure out what's going on." And so that told me. And I did hear the suspect use mama when they were on the phone too.
Did you follow up with that voicemail?
I did not.
Grounds.
Overruled.
May I just clarify the basis is, he didn't describe it as a voicemail?
He did. He said he left.
I thought he did, but
yeah.
Anyway, the objection's overruled. Did you finish asking your question? Why don't you just ask it again?
Did you follow up with the caller that left the voicemail after that?
I never called her back, no. She just called one time and left one voicemail. I did give the phone number to the police because they asked for it, so I gave them the number you had called and then told them about the voicemail calling me back. But I didn't release that to anybody else other than the police.
Do you recall keeping that phone number in your call log after that?
I believe it's still in my voicemail history, if that's what you're wondering.
Even now?
Even now, yeah.
Any reason why you would keep it this long?
I didn't go out of my way to keep it. It just is on there. I don't get a lot of voicemail, so I checked this morning just to make sure it was on there, and it still is on the bottom of my list.
So why would you check for it this morning?
Because I thought maybe it'd come up today. I don't remember the exact number, but I still have the voicemail if I needed to bring that up.
What led you to believe that it may come up this morning?
Because I knew I had to testify, but I didn't know what exactly would come up or not.
What do you mean by you knew you had to testify? Is that...
I got a subpoena and asked to come and share what happened at my house that day, and that was one of the things that happened.
You seeked testifying?
Objection.
Grounds?
Argumentative.
Sustained as to the form of the question.
So you made reference to still keeping the voicemail. Did you keep any of the ring footage?
It's still on my phone, yes.
You said it was like 6 or 7 videos?
I didn't keep anything past the officer coming up to my door after. So I think I've got only 4 saved, maybe 5.
Any reason why you would keep those this long?
I just haven't felt the need to get rid of them, I guess. I mean, that video is protecting me, from being involved or anything, so there's no reason I would ever get rid of it.
Would it be fair to say that you weren't involved in anything that evening?
Other than trying to help somebody who I thought was in need, I was not involved in anything that evening.
So why would you have any fear that you may be implicated in anything if you know that you weren't involved in anything?
Because I had a suspect who had just done horrendous things come to my house, and automatically people are going to think that maybe I had something, or I knew you or something, and I didn't. And so this is just validating that you told me you were homeless and I was trying to help a stranger out when really... Sorry, what's the question?
It would be fair to say that you weren't arrested in any connection to any events that evening. Would that be fair to say?
That'd be fair. I've never been arrested.
And so my question would be, why would you think that you would be implicated in any way?
Objection.
Grounds?
Asked and answered. Next question.
And how do you feel that the keeping of the videos would protect you from something that you don't need protection from?
Objection.
Grounds?
Asked and answered. Sustained. Next question.
I think I misspoke when I said that it was protecting me, because it's not necessarily protecting me. It's just something I haven't got rid of yet.
Do you recall interaction with law enforcement by the name of Officer Luling?
I do.
Do you recall emailing him portions of the ring footage?
Yes.
Do you recall how many portions?
Maybe 4 or 5. I don't remember exactly how many. So no, I can't recall that exactly how many I did.
Do you recall if it was 6?
I don't recall.
I'm assuming at some point that after escorting the suspect out of your house, you went back into your house?
Yep.
And what did you do from that point?
When I escorted the suspect out and he gave me the jacket and the phone back, I went right inside, locked the door, and I don't remember exactly what I did. I think I stood in there and looked outside because I wanted to see whatever was going on, see either the suspect get into an Uber and leave or see the police get him in cuffs. And it was a matter of a minute later, the suspect came and was knocking on my door again to come back inside and look for the ID.
When asking for your phone and your jacket back, was there any resistance on the part of the suspect, or did they just?
Maybe a few seconds to finish up their phone call, but they gave it back as soon as I asked for it.
And you stated at one point going back in your house to look for the ID and wasn't able to find the ID?
Yeah, the suspect came back after I escorted him out of my house, came back like about a minute later asking to come back inside and look for his ID, and I said, no, I'll look for it for you. So I was looking for his ID, I didn't let him back inside.
And you didn't find any ID when you looked?
No, I did not find any ID.
Did you find anything unusual?
No.
And after seeing reports on the news and things of the like, did you come into any more information at that point?
Objection.
Grounds.
Vague.
Sustain just to the form of the question.
Did you learn anything from news reports that you didn't know that evening?
Yes. After the fact, I learned of the suspect's criminal. Well, I guess. Sorry.
We're not going to go there.
Okay. I learned the name of the suspect at my house. I learned what that suspect was put into cuffs for at my house, and I learned what vehicle he drove and the details of the incident.
Did you observe the suspect in the vehicle at any time?
No.
Did you notice any vehicles parked in the area that you hadn't seen before?
No.
You made reference to briefly speaking with neighbors at that time.
Yeah, when I was escorting the suspect out of my house, the neighbors said, "Are you guys looking for that guy?" And up to that point, I had no information of a person that he should be looking for. So I said, "No, this might be him."
Do you know what they were referring to at that moment?
Yeah, my neighbor was at the parade, and he was talking about the person driving the vehicle through the parade.
And you knew all that at that moment?
No, I didn't learn about that until the police told me after the fact. I didn't know what he was referring to when he said, "Are you guys looking for that guy?" I didn't know anything about anything particular, but just that somebody's looking for a guy. And so then that's what led me to believe that the suspect in my house may be the person.
It would be fair to say at that time, at that moment, you didn't know what they were referring to.
That would be fair to say, correct.
Did you have any other interactions with those neighbors that evening?
Yes, they called me after I got done doing my reports with the police, and I explained to them why there was so much police presence at my house afterwards, and that that the suspect was arrested at my house, or at my front porch.
And did they at any time say anything to you about seeing a vehicle or having knowledge of a vehicle at that time?
Yeah, Greg, my next door neighbor, saw the red vehicle running over people.
And he saw that? He told you that he saw that?
Yeah. He told me after I had, I don't know exactly what time, maybe 6:30 p.m. that night, when I called him after the fact. After I knew what had happened, then Greg told me that he had seen what had happened. A lot of my neighbors were at the parade.
Do you know if they gave any reports to law enforcement at that time?
I don't know that.
The officers that arrested the suspect at your home that evening, did you see your neighbors speak with any of those law enforcement officers?
I didn't see them, no. Speak with them, no.
And you stated that they told you what they saw. Any reason why they wouldn't speak with law enforcement, seeing as how they were right there in the area?
Objection.
Grounds.
Only for speculation.
Sustained.
So would it be safe to say you were pretty well informed that you would be testifying in this matter?
I didn't know. I knew that it was likely. I didn't know until I got the subpoena letter.
And when did you receive that subpoena?
I'm going to say September, maybe end of August.
And that was received it was sent by the district attorney's office?
Yes.
You recall the name?
No.
After receiving the subpoena, did you follow up with the district attorney's office?
They said that they would be emailing me with more details, and I waited until I got the initial email before I did any following up with the district attorney's office.
And were those emails pertaining to testifying in this matter?
Yes.
Have you yourself filed any claims in this matter?
No.
Have you yourself seen or read any complaint in this matter?
No.
Would you yourself consider yourself an injured party in this matter?
No.
Are you aware of who the plaintiff is in this matter?
Objection.
Grounds.
Relevance.
Sustained.
Would it be fair to say that you've followed reporting on this incident?
Initially, yeah, I watched the news and followed the reporting on it.
Initially?
Well, like I haven't been following the trial, but I was following the initial reports back in November of last year.
So pretty much right when the incident happened is what you followed?
Correct. You know, the following week or so, or 2 weeks.
You ever hear who the plaintiff was in this matter?
Objection.
Grounds.
Relevance.
Grounds.
Sustained.
Have you yourself ever had any interaction with the plaintiff?
Objection.
Grounds.
Relevance.
Sustained.
Do you even know if there was a plaintiff in this matter?
Same objection.
Grounds.
Sustained.
Do you recall how much you sold the ring footage for?
Objection.
Grounds.
Relevance.
Overruled. He may answer.
I believe gross, it was a little over 23,000. But after taxes, and we donated a lot, so we saw a lot less than that afterwards.
Would it be fair to say that's quite a nice profit?
Objection.
Grounds.
It's
Sustained as to the form of the question.
And would that be the price just for one of the ring footages, or in total, all that you sold?
That was the total. Yeah.
The four.
Like I said, I don't know how that worked. That was just the kickbacks that we got from working with the, so yeah, I guess all of it, all four footage that was distributed to the news.
Do you recall which station that was? Which news station?
I mean, I think it was like most of the NBC, ABC,
So it was multiple.
CBS. Yeah, I mean, I don't recall all of them, no. I don't exactly which ones it was, I don't know.
So it'd be fair to say it was pretty much all the standard news stations.
Yeah.
Do you recall if that included TMZ?
objection.
Grounds.
Relevance.
Sustained. You've made your point. You can move on.
questions.
Thank you. Any redirect?
Please. Thank you. Mr. Ryder, do you have your phone on you right now?
Objection, relevancy.
Overruled. He may answer.
I don't, I gave it to a gal that let me in here. She's got it though.
While we're waiting on that, you mentioned you checked your phone this morning to confirm that you still had the voicemail we've been talking about, right?
Yes.
Objection, relevancy.
Overruled. You questioned him about it. It's proper.
If we,
I'm referring to the use of the phone. What is the?
We haven't gotten there yet, sir. You're premature. You may answer.
you did check.
Yeah, I did.
If we were to provide your phone to you here today, do you think you'd be able to find that voicemail?
Objection.
Overruled. You may answer.
Yes.
Do you think you'd be able to play it on speakerphone for everybody to hear?
Objection. What is the relevancy?
Overruled.
Yeah, I can do that.
There's a way to also play it through the technology.
Objection. What is the relevancy?
Could I have a bailiff, please?
You can unplug it from the charger. It's fine.
To the witness?
Objection. What is the relevancy?
It's relevant, sir. You cross-examined him about it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm cross-examining him about the question, not
Brooks,
playing the phone.
please, I've made my ruling.
So is that a judicial determination?
Go ahead, you may ask your next question, Attorney Witcher.
Please open up your phone and let me know when you find the voicemail.
It's still pulling up right now.
Sure. You followed instructions and turned your phone off before you came into court.
Objection.
Overruled, you may answer.
Leading.
Yes, I turned the phone off before court.
Attorney Witcher, I presume why he's loading that you're not offering the voicemail for the truth of the matter asserted, but simply to substantiate that he received a call.
Yes.
The jury will be instructed in terms of what is said in that voicemail, not to consider it for the truth of the matter asserted, but just simply to substantiate the voicemail was received.
And part of that request, Judge, would be to include the time that the voicemail was left and the number from which it came.
Objection. What is the relevancy of that?
The objection's noted, and he may ask the witness those questions.
You might as well ask about the videos too then.
We'll get to those.
How much longer do you have with the,
5 minutes.
All right.
Well, I don't know how long this voicemail is, with that caveat.
all right, please continue.
It's okay.
29-second voicemail.
Okay, can you tell us what phone number that voicemail came from?
Objection. Relevancy.
Overruled, he may answer.
The voicemail came from so plus one or whatever, so 414-610-2153.
Can you tell us what time that voicemail came in?
Objection. Relevancy.
Overruled, he may answer.
5:27 p.m. on November 21st
Of 2021?
of 2021.
Objection. Leading.
Overruled, his answer may stand.
And Your Honor, at this point, I'd ask to allow the witness to play that voicemail using speakerphone. And if that doesn't work great with the audio system, then we can try the plugging in option.
Once again, the jury, will only consider this not for the truth of the matter, of what's asserted in that voicemail, but simply to substantiate that it was received. Go ahead.
Objection.
Noted. Overruled.
Constantly.
Yes, Mr. Ryder, I don't know what's going on. I'm at work. I work at Ryder. And my son, that was my son who used your phone.
Oh, sorry. I'll restart it. I was using the wrong
Yes,
mic.
Mr. Ryder, I don't know what's going on. I'm at work. I work at Ryder. And my son, that was my son who used your phone. And he's calling. I don't know what's going on. I'm just trying to see if he got the lift or what, because the guy is in a white Dodge Charger. Apparently the lift driver switched cars and I didn't get the message. So I'm just trying to find out what the hell is going on. So I'm just want someone to just call me and tell me something, because I don't know.
And then that's the end of the voicemail?
Yes.
And you didn't contact the person who called you and left that voicemail after the fact, did you?
Objection, Lee. Asked and answered, and cross.
Overruled, he may answer.
No, I never contacted her.
The videos that we played in court today, those 4 videos, Exhibit 75, 77, 78, and 79, you turned all those videos over to the police, is that correct?
Objection, Lee.
Sustained as to the form of the question.
To whom did you turn those 4 videos over?
I emailed them to Officer, I believe it was Officer Willing. There was a Rebecca Carpenter out of Eagle PD that wanted it, and I may have emailed it to somebody with West Dallas PD, but for sure Waukesha Police Department all got it that night.
While you got your phone in front of you, are you able to access your call log?
Yeah.
Objection, Lee.
Overruled.
Can you go back to November 21st of 2021?
Okay.
Can you see what number Mr. Brooks dialed that day using your phone?
Objection, Lee.
Overruled.
Objection, I don't consent to being called that name.
So my call log didn't save back that far. My voicemails did, but my call log, I've made so many calls since then that I didn't save that. I think the police definitely saved that number when they were at my house that night, though.
Do you recall if it was the same phone number that you received that voicemail from?
Objection, speculative.
Overruled. You may answer.
I don't recall for sure, no.
The videos that you released to the media, did you release anything to the media that you didn't also provide to the police?
Objection.
Overruled.
Let me see.
No, everything that was released to the media was already released to the police department.
Did you alter those videos or the audio that goes with them in any way when you released them to the media?
Objection, hearsay.
Overruled.
No, I never altered any of them.
What about when you sent them to the police?
Objection, leading.
Overruled.
No, never altered them.
Were you aware at the time that Ring is a subscription service?
Objection, leading.
Overruled.
Yes, we paid a subscription for it.
And there's a cloud account that goes with that, is that right?
Objection, leading.
Sustained as to the form of the question.
I think this is a pretty foundational question necessary to develop the testimony.
You're probably right, and can be, some leading questions are allowed, but just rephrase that one, please, and we'll go from there.
Okay. Where do the videos go aside from your phone?
Objection, speculative.
Overruled.
There's an app on my phone that I was able to save and download off the app onto my phone. So there might be, I'm pretty sure that there's a Ring cloud that Ring, the company Ring, can probably access the footage, but I was never notified that they had access to it or anything like that.
If someone did want to access those videos through Ring, were you aware at the time that someone would have been able to double check and make sure that you didn't fudge with that video?
Objection, leading.
Overruled if you're able to answer.
Yeah, I mean, Ring can, if we needed to get Ring to validate that it's correct, they would be able to do that.
Okay. When Mr. Brooks first knocked on your door, were you planning to sell those videos?
Objection. I don't consent to being called that name.
Overruled. The witness may answer.
Objection, speculative.
It's not speculative. Overruled. The witness may answer.
Objection, hearsay.
It's not hearsay. Go ahead.
No, I had no idea what was going to happen after that.
What about after you let him in the back door and gave him a sandwich and a jacket? Was this all part of the plan at that point?
Objection, leading.
Overruled. He may answer.
No, there was no plan to get footage to sell or anything like that, no.
You simply provided those videos to law enforcement and the media.
Objection, leading.
Overruled.
Yes, that's correct.
Thank you. I don't have anything else.
After the fact.
All right. Thank you. You may step down. It's a little after 12:09. We will take our lunch break. We went a little bit longer, so I'm going to take about a 90-minute lunch break today. So all rise for the jury. We are in recess. I'll see everyone at about 1:40.